started, I have to ask, how happy are you that you won this election?
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here, just talking with people, talking to you. As far as winning the election, it's going to be a bit of a mixed feelings from here on in. Of course, I'm very excited. It's an amazing opportunity, and I thank everybody for it. But that's also going to be a lot of work for me, and I signed up for that. But with that, that always dulls the happiness a little bit.
Yes, yes. But getting right to the issues, recently there's been a momentous push to legalize marijuana, and it succeeded, it appears. And there are many propositions in Congress relating to this. But just in general, to start off, what do you think about the legalization of marijuana? Do you support it?
I do support the issue of marijuana legalization. I wouldn't say quite wholeheartedly because I do support it, but I also support regulating it as well. So I don't believe that it should just be instantly out there for everybody, but age limits and taxation, things like that should be implemented just to safeguard everybody.
And now about some of those policies, you mentioned age restrictions. What priority should we have with regulating dispensaries of marijuana? Do you think we should prioritize making sure that you cannot get it into the hands of minors?
Definitely. So a lot of that happens with education, and younger people tend to be less educated on the issue of drugs. And so making sure that everybody is of an age where they know what a drug is, know what it does to them, so that they can make an informed decision that doesn't endanger their lives, I think is very important. So along those lines, yes, it should be kept out of the hands of minors. Along the lines of tobacco, again, pinpointing that age is always going to be an issue. The dispensaries themselves, we should make sure that they know that there is going to be strict punishment for those that give it out more freely than others.
How hard do you think it should be to get a license? How long should that last for, and what impact do you think that will have on new small businesses?
So as far as getting a license, I believe that there should be very strict policies. Of course, states do have their own standards for those, but I believe that the federal level, because it is something new, I believe that it should be very strictly regulated so that we don't have a lot of low quality product and a lot of people that don't educate and don't really screen their customers. We should have regulations and make it not exactly difficult, but do make it a strict process so that only the people that really know what they're doing can get a license for it.
As you know, tobacco has warning labels on it to ensure everyone knows what's in it. What about for marijuana? What do you think is important to prioritize on those warning labels?
Yeah, so real estate there, I guess, is a bit limited there, but we should definitely give a bit of a synopsis over various different carcinogens or cancer-causing products that exist in the smoke there, which is existent in marijuana as well as tobacco, which is one of the main health concerns there. As far as other concern, of course, the main things about marijuana, the THC and other cannabinoids, should be included on there along with various warnings of if you have too much of this, it has been linked to signs of anxiety. So just to have very strong cautions against people having too much.
And as for those people that maybe have too much or that take it under the legal age limit, do you think we should focus more on education or punishment?
So for that, I do believe that both are very important. So definitely punishing the people that let their licenses go too far, that allowed a person under the age, whether they were a distributor that didn't take the license well enough, or a parent that just let it get out of their hands. I believe that there should be punishments such as revoking the license or keeping them from the product, or at least keeping them from the product for a certain amount of time.
But we still don't know the full story. We need more research. And the government is looking into providing this research with funds that they have. And I'm wondering, do you think it's even the government's responsibility? And which government? The federal government, the state government, or local governments?
As always, I'm a very strong proponent for the government protecting its people, and that's one of my biggest things that I want to do is this term. Now, along with that, that comes with researching such drugs as marijuana. Now, that it should be funded partially by tax revenue from the marijuana, which, as shown in Colorado, where it has been legalized, that market is massive. So with the tax rates, I believe that some of that should go towards researching marijuana to make sure that it's been a good choice. And I think it will be. I don't think there will be any too dangerous effects there. But of course, changing dosage amounts will also be something with that. But in terms of research, I believe that private companies and distributors of marijuana might also want to help in that to make sure that it's the fastest process possible, because the faster that we can research marijuana, the faster that it can be fully legalized and more open to everybody, and that's just more profit for them.
Wondering, do you think it's more the responsibility of the federal government or the state governments or even the local governments to tax it? And what do you think the tax rate should be, high or low?
So with that, I do believe that it should be something more akin to tobacco. with that, where we see with tobacco that there is a federal tax, a state tax, and in some cases a local tax. And you get some people paying as much as $7 on the pack just in taxes. And whether that's ridiculous or not, I can't really say. In terms of local tax, of course, or state and local taxes, it is of course up to state and local jurisdiction.
There should be any specific tariffs for transporting marijuana over the border between states, of course. And what do you think about the transportation?
As far as transportation, it should be something akin to tobacco because it has shown the harmful effects of it has been linked very to be rather close to those tobaccos. So I think following similar concerns of that would be good. Of course, making it hygienic and free of impurities is also a very powerful thing to do. But in terms of interstate tariffs, there should be some tariff that covers the cost and the difference between two states.
Do you have any final words for all the great representatives of Congress?
Well, for the representative of Congress, I know that it's going to be a lot of work to get this done and implemented because a lot of states have different varying levels of support for this. But I think that as a nation, we can come together and get this done as expediently as possible. And I know that they're going to do a great job on these pieces of legislation.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.